Hey guys, me, Metal Man here today, and welcome to part 2 with this video. So, basically, I think the only reason why I'm recording this short clip is to add, the title of the video, below the, just on the bottom bit of the screen there, as you can see. So, well, the only thing I could say, I'll explain what I'm going to talk about in the next clip. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace, and part 2 of this video was recorded earlier on today, about 5-6 hours ago. So about to say once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace. And well, hey guys, now welcome to part 3. Now I've just been having a little break, for about an hour or so. Now I'm gonna continue talking about Saxon's history, the history of the rock band Saxon. So in this video I'm going to be talking about their history in the 90s, their return to their roots, and a core member leaves, a new member arrives, and a recording career centred on Germany for much of that decade and a part of the next. And the 2000s I'm going to be talking about their revival in popularity, re-establishment in this country, and and 2010s I'm going to talk about the current status and what they're doing right now today. Well, anyway, in 1990, where I left off, 1988, Destiny did not help Saxon at all, helped break big in America. I just forgot to mention also in the last video, Nigel Glocker left the band temporarily and was replaced by a drummer called Nigel Durham, who was in the band for a couple of years at that point. He was only on the Destiny album. After that, after the tour for that album, shortly after that album came out, Paul Johnson and on the tour, Paul Johnson and Nigel Durham both left the band, and Nigel Glocker returned to the group at the time. He was with a supergroup project between his first and second stints in Saxon. And also the band recruited a new member called Nibs Carter, who was the bass player for a band called Fastway. He did some session work for them in 1987. Well, 1990, the band were around for over 10 years. 10 years recording. So they did a sort of successful tour, but not really successful in this country, but mainly in European territories. Well, that was a huge success, and the band released a new live album called it was called 10 Years History, 10 Years of Denim and Leather. The band released that in 1990, and since as though the band weren't able to make it big in America with a more polished sound, they moved back to their original European heavy metal sound, or back to square one heavy metal sound, or back to square one for them. They're European. They sort of returned back to their European heavy metal sound. And in 1991 they released their 10th studio album called Solid Ball of Rock, which came out early in the year. There were 5. Nibs Carter was also a really good songwriter in the band at that time as well. He written 5 songs on that album. And the band, and it also contained a few stage favourites on there, which appear in the set list now and again, such as Solid Ball of Rock, Altar of the Gods, Requiem, We Will Remember, dedicated to all those famous musicians who passed away. And amongst others. The band embarked. That was successful. It was sort of like a step in the right direction for the band at the time. And the next year the band released another new album called Forever Free, which it had one song on there dedicated to Biff Byford's old man, dedicated to Biff Byford's father, who worked in the coal mines of Yorkshire. And the band embarked on a successful tour at that time. 2 successful tours at that time. And so yep, well, and then between that and the band's next album after that, called Dogs of War, I think the band toured, and then I think they took a short break afterwards, and then 1994, 20 years ago, the band recorded the album Dogs of War, which was Graham Oliver's last. I'll tell you about it in a moment. Oh, and I just forgot to mention as well, what was it again? Oh, so sorry, I've just forgotten what I was going to say. Sorry, just... there's a song on Forever Free which was dedicated to Biff Byford's father. I think it was called Iron Wheels. 1 minute. Hold on. And also, so yep, it featured another very popular stage favourite called Forever Free, and it also included Iron Wheels, which was a song dedicated to Biff Byford's father, who worked in the coal mines of Yorkshire. I've already said that, so yep. And it also included a alternate version of, I think it also included an alternate version of a song from a video game called Space Marine, from a Warhammer tabletop video game, so yep. Well, come 1995, the band releases their next album called Dogs of War, which was Graham Oliver's last with the band, and shortly after recording that album though, a core member leaves, a new member arrives. So, Graham Oliver was fired from the group because he sold copies of the band's performance at Donington 1980 without consent and permission from the other members, and so the band replaced him with a guitarist called Doug Scarrett, who has remained in the band ever since. So yep, the band released their next album in '97 called 1997. The year I was born. Yep, called Unleash the Beast. So yep, and this album showcased the band becoming more heavier again, returning heavier roots. So yep, and that was Nigel Glocker's last Saxon album for a decade because he teared muscles in his neck and shoulders, and then in 1998 he did this, and that happened, and doctors advised him against playing drums. So he was replaced by. He was temporarily replaced by someone called Fritz Randau. I don't know how you pronounce his last name, but wait, Fritz Randau. So yep, I'm right. Fritz Randau. I'm right. So Fritz Randau. It looks like I was right about his name. I just thought I was wrong for a moment. So yep. Well, the late 90s saw the band. In the late 90s, the band started becoming more popular in Europe at the time. In particular Germany. And around this time, and around most of the carrying on to today, the band's current main strengths are in those. Sorry, shaking the tripod again. Their main strengths are in those territories. So, in September 1999, the band released a critically acclaimed album, which was critically acclaimed in Germany, called Metalhead. It was released in September of 1999, their last album of the millennium. So yep, and the band too had a very big, extensive tour in support of that album, really successful. And also around that time, the band started headlining the Wacken Open Air Festival in Germany, which they've become a regular fixture in the festival. So yep. 2 years later, the band released Killing Ground, which, it very successful in European territories, and it. So yep. So yep. They reached number 26 on the German top 50 chart. Yep. And then, the next year, the band released a album of re-recorded classics from their earlier albums called Heavy Metal Thunder, 2002, that's not an official studio album, but you know, so yep. And, well, 2000 and I just want to quickly tell you about this first. After Graham Over and Steve Dawson left Saxon, they formed another group called, formed another band with the group's former name, which was called Son of a Bitch, which they attempted to use the name Saxon and try and register it as a trademark, but Biff Byford applied to the registry to have the trademark declared invalid, and then this was later taken to court in 2003, where the favour was won in the official Saxon, and where it was won by Biff Byford Saxon, and Oliver and Dawson were prevented from using the Saxon name, so ever since they've branded themselves as Oliver Dawson Saxon. So yep. 2004, this was Fritz Randau's last album with Saxon. Well, no, it wasn't. He got replaced again. So yep, the band released an album called Lionheart in 2004, which was their 16th studio album. It featured the track, which the title track is about your Richard the Lionheart, you know. So, yep. It's about Richard Lionheart, who was a king of England. So yep. And Fritz Randau's replacement was a drummer called George Michael, who not George Michael, he's a Georg Michael. So he's from Stratovarius. I don't know how you pronounce the band, but that's a try. That's a attempt to pronounce it. Yep. And yep, album, really positive reviews on that album, and the title track is a fan favourite in the set list, and this marked a revival in their popularity. The 2000s did started to mark a revival in their popularity, and Saxon have still, from in that time managed to successfully reconnect with their aging supporters. So yep. In 2005, George Michael left the band, and George Michael left the band and was replaced by former drummer Nigel Glocker again. He returned to the band in 2005, and he's happily remained with the band ever since. So yeah. In 2005, the band released an album called The Eagles Landed Free. Well, I forgot to mention, the band released another album in '96 called The Eagles Landed 2, which was recorded on tour in support of the Dogs of War album. And so yep, and The Eagles Landed 3. Wait, the second one was called the Eagles Landed Part 2. The third one was called The Eagles Landed Part 3. So yep, that was recorded during the Lionheart tour. So yep. Come 2007, the band in an attempt to re-establish themselves in this country, the band were a subject of a TV show by a music promoter called Harvey Goldsmith. And the main focus of that program was he tried to restore the band's popularity and reputation in the UK as a live act. So yep, and well, one of the first things he did, he drafted in 2 producers to oversee the production of a single called If I Was You, which it's a song about gun culture. It managed to reach the top of the rock charts in many countries, and it became their most successful single in years as well. So yep. And then it got followed later on by the album. It got followed on by the album called The Inner Sanctum in 2007, which many critics and fans had seen it as their best work in years. And also, I forgot to mention on the programme, before I move on to the next album, talk about the next album, I'm going to quickly tell you about this first. Well, one of the things he tried to do to try and get people to come and see the band, there was a few little stunts which Harvey suggested. One of them was they played a game in the middle of a football stadium just before a game was about to start. Where If I Was You was blaring over the tonnoid just before the football game started. It was a game between Sheffield and Newcastle, and the band played on there for a few minutes before And so before the game started, and one of the two little downsides with that, because or one of the upsides to make people, well, if that was Harvey Goldsmith's band, he said, if that had been me, if this was my band, I would have made sure, one, that single was blaring over the tannoy before the game started, so people knew what the hell was going on, and two, when the guy made the introduction, he only talked to the Sheffield fans. He completely ignored the Sunderland fans. He only talked to the Sheffield fans because he's from Sheffield. That's what So yeah, and then there was another little way to get people to come see the band, where there was a gig where Harvey made up the fact that the band The Cure were playing to try and get lots of kids along, and then afterwards they ended up rocking it. Afterwards, they managed to do it really successfully. So yep. And since that album came out, they managed to re-establish themselves in the UK ever since. So yep, and managed to regrow in popularity in this country, as well as they managed to have a revive. They managed to have a resurgence in popularity in this country as well as Europe as well. So yep, as well as many other territories. So, yep. 2009, the band released an album called Into the Labyrinth, which was another really successful album, which it continued the success that the Inner Sanctum had created, and it could interview many other fan favourites. So yep. And that also, I forgot to mention, the band, 2008, the band also played the Download Festival as well in 2008, so yep. 2009, the band did a tour with Doro Pesh, she was the lead singer of Warlock. They did a tour with her in this country earlier on in the year. So I forgot to mention in February, earlier on, no, it was at the end of the year, but at the beginning of the year, I forgot to mention they had to cancel a Spanish leg of their tour just for some reasons. So yep. And at the end of the night, at the end of the year, the band toured the UK with Doro Pesh, which she was the lead singer of Walk, which I already said. So yep. 2011. Wait, I forgot. And also afterwards, and also the band also had a very successful tour: Europe, America, South America. So yep, all those territories. So yep. And well, 2011, the band released Call to Arms, which was a more it's more like, it sounds a bit more like working class thrashy heavy metal album. So yep, and the band went on tour for that. Another successful tour, So yep, and they played 2012 Download Festival in 2012, Wacken as well. Yep, as many other great shows. So yep. And also that album it also was another very successful album as well. So yep. Well, so yeah, it contained a few other many fan favourites as well, and amongst the others. So so yep. Well, and just recently in 2012. Produced by Accept's record producer called Andy Sneap, the band released their 20th studio album called Sacrifice. Another really excellent album in 2013. So yep, and the band have toured ever since in support of that album. They're still touring in support of that album. So yep, in the UK, Europe, America, you name it. And also the festivals in Europe, Wacken as well, Hellfest, Bloodstock, So yep. I forgot to mention, in 2001, the band headlined the first Bloodstock festival in the UK, so yep. And I've just forgot to mention that late last year, the band were due to tour the UK with Motorhead, but it got cancelled due to problems with Lemmy's health, So yep. The band are going to be touring in the UK at the end of the year. If any Saxon fan is interested, so if you're interested in seeing Saxon, any Saxon fans. So yep, go and get those tickets now where they're going. It's good, because once they're gone, they're gone. So yep. And well, so yep, I think that concludes my history of Saxon. So yep, I'm sorry I had to making it quickish. So yep, Tell you some of the brief. I'll tell you some of the facts. So yep, that's all I. So yep, that's the. We'll just forget I just said that as well. Yep. Well, that concludes my history of Saxon video. So yep. Well, I've just got to say now. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe if you like my videos. And my next video, we'll be talking about the history of Iron Maiden. It'll be a lot more detail than what I've did for Saxon. So yep. I'll just say one last time. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace. I forgot to mention also, I will be making a video tomorrow, a voice imitations video tomorrow. So yep. I'll see you someone. Thanks for watching. Peace.